And that is my intro that my son made me like 2 years ago. And I haven't changed because I don't feel the need to change it because I don't do YouTube that often anymore, or at least not my own stuff. So here I am. I'm Tacoma Comics. That is Rob, not near Mint. And we are here for some fun and shenanigans on Christmas Eve. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, cheers to that.
He got the monster.
Well, it's always a sober Christmas for me around here. It's been 5.5 years, so I will not critique anybody that wants to do it. Y'all have fun. You earned it. Me, this is all I can do.
Hey, man, I bet you earned that monster though after 5.5 years. So have as
I
many.
don't know. That's my third one today.
There you go. It's okay.
According to you earlier, doesn't that make people take a shit?
No, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Because I have a lot of I don't know. I never take anything like that. What did I just do? Tried to take a photo of us because we're so good looking. There we go.
Yeah, especially when you have a nice handsome kitty right here.
It has that sort of effect on me. But you do you. I'll do my cheap wine and you do the monster. We just post this on Instagram. See if we get any sort of response on this Christmas Eve. Merry
Earlier, while you were doing that, we had Splash Page Comics. Monty, he was doing a Christmas video earlier tonight, and he was dancing around as the Grinch here and there. You had to watch a few minutes to go, hey, is that Monty as Santa, or is that an animatronic? As it turned out, no, he was the Grinch. At first, I thought he was a bear, and that he actually hired Gail Simone to dress up. I mean, not that she has to. She's a bear. And she was there on the show. No, it was Monty the whole time. But we don't know because he didn't say anything. It was just, no, it wasn't Gail. It was just Monty as the Grinch, not a bear at all. It was green, but I'm colorblind.
There you go. That might have been why you thought it was a bear. It's funny how much of the Grinch...
It's brown, not green.
How much of the Grinch to us is actually just like green. And that's how we identify. But I continued a holiday tradition. We watched The Grinch last night. We found it on one of our streaming channels since we no longer have a DVD player, though. My wife was reminding my son how much he absolutely loved to watch The Grinch and play The Grinch over and over from Christmas to about July, so much so that she had to steal the DVD out of the cabinet so he could not find it anymore. But he didn't remember any of that, so we watched it last night, or should say the four of us sat on the couch last night. We were kind of on our phones watching, which is how we do a lot of things these days. So.
While texting each other and sitting next to one another.
Yeah. Hey, that was funny. Did you just see that? I saw that. Did you see that? So
I was too busy looking at my phone.
Yeah, seriously. So is Christmas treating you okay so far? Christmas season, holiday season? Are you on?
I mean, I'm okay not having family around. I worked one day this week for like an hour, and it was opposing counsel bitching that I was not a stenographer, so I didn't have to do anything, and I still got paid.
Narrator, he is indeed a stenographer.
I mean,
reporter.
All right, to not go into too much detail, we're like the Uber. We are like the Uber to the taxi drivers that are the actual stenographers. Those are people that went to college and they have like a 90% turnover rate because it's not easy. And, they say that they're supposed to be able to get 300 words a minute. Well, if you're like me and you have like a cup of colada or 10 in the morning, you might do a little more than 300 words a minute. And a lot of the attorneys down here in Miami wind up having those coladas and they speak about 600 words a minute. So unless you're using an AI, which we all do, you're not keeping up with that unless you're dropping all of the and the, so, or, but some of them are using, big boy words, we'll call that. So really long medical terms.
So was opposing counsel upset with you? Hey, I see we got 3 people watching. If you're watching this, drop a hello in the chat. If you want to join, send me an Instagram DM and I'll hook you up with a little bit of the access code.
Yeah, all I'm doing is explaining my boring ass job. But hey, at least that boring ass job pays for this.
what you have to do is you have to understand. Hey, Cantonese Comic Kid, he was live a little earlier, or
Hey,
had
Jeff.
the Tiger thing going on. Thank you for being here. Um, yeah, so everybody looks at my job, right? I'm a teacher, and the whole like the thing is, oh, I could do that, or when I'm done boxing, I'll be a teacher. When I'm done being a rock star, I'll be a teacher. Nobody says I could be a court reporter. They're all what they say is, I don't know how they type that fast. I could never be a court reporter. So whatever
We
the
don't. That's the secret.
yeah. Right. You have a keyboard that like has phrases and stuff on it, right?
Well, that would be the stenographer. They have these special
Oh,
machines where it's like a collection of sounds like instead of the full word. So that
right.
way you piece these things together as you hear it and you get attuned to it. So you really do need those 4 years of training. I did none of that. All you need to do my job is a laptop computer, a couple of these microphones that look like this. Make sure you have your notary, and hey, you're a court reporter.
Oh wow. So you just record what they
I'm,
say?
I'm not kidding at all.
That's great to know, man.
I mean, you could
See,
have a mic like this. I use these lavalier microphones that are in my briefcase over there with a mixer. So I get people clipped on, but I've stopped doing that because, attorneys are thinking about whatever they have to say next, not whatever's clipped to them. And that shit costs a lot of money. So they'll wander out of a room and rip a cord. So all this stuff is, cordless. But they could still wander off with that. And then you have to replace a $90 mic. So the hell with that.
so
So I just
what is the
clip it to
difference
a
then between when a stenographer is required and when a court reporter is required?
There's really not. There's certain states that they would prefer in actual, not necessarily court proceedings, but in trials, definitely. I could see how they might want a stenographer to read something back. But we'll just go, oh, you needed something that was the last question. Yeah, I'll play that back for you. And you play the exact part that they had a question. If they were talking about something 20 minutes ago, hell, 2 days ago, if they give me a little brief key phrase, I can pump that in and go, okay, was this it? Yes, that was the exact question. Thank you.
Wow. So do stenographers like look down their noses at you like you're taking their jobs, like
Oh, absolutely.
they're obsolete? All right.
They
I
hate us. I mean,
I have
now,
more respect for you now.
all right, so now some of those stenographers, the gold standard,
Mhm.
they have started their own companies and they're realizing, hey, this is kind of profitable. If I don't really have to do very much, maybe I can do one job a day, but I'll take a job from this person and go, hey, Rob, can you run here? Or they'll pay my company that I work for. And they'll say, hey, Rob, can you jump onto a Zoom? Or, hey, Rob, how fast can you get to the courthouse? An hour and a half. I live really far.
That's awesome. I knew nothing about that whole world. I feel like you just peeled back a tiny layer and I just started seeing just a little bit, just a little
Oh,
bit.
doing this job makes an autistic person like me understand how people really operate. And when you do this job long enough, you realize through corporate depositions of corporate representatives, nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody at all. Everybody has learned what they've learned from someone else or trial and error. And confidence is usually bullshit.
Yeah, that
'Cause
that has definitely been something I've learned more recently is like nobody really knows what they're doing. And just kind of fake it till you make it. And even then, I had a librarian at my last school who got who got fired because he was a character.
what do you do?
Oh gosh,
Or is it more, what didn't he do?
he wanted to turn the library into this space that everybody could love and use. And like, so he brought in games. He let kids come in early to read and like sit in cardboard boxes if they felt more comfortable. Like all this stuff that was just absolutely amazing, but it upset a few people. So it was very loud in the library. It was a little
Okay.
chaotic. A kid fell over and got injured once and like, looked like he broke his leg or something. And the nurse comes in and the librarian, he just opens a box, takes out a wand, walks over to the kid, waves the wand over him, and says, "You're better now," walks away. Just stuff to cheer up the mood, but some people didn't quite take it the right way. And then he got in a fight with his assistant, who was a total horror show. So, what that's all water on the bridge, except today. Today, I was at the climbing gym talking to my son. He said he did a boulder problem that he couldn't quite make, but now he learns that there's a knee bar in it, and he thinks he can do it with the knee bar. So I started telling him about a climb back in New York from like 30 years ago that has a knee bar in it. And I said I used to get so good at it, I would climb with an apple in my mouth. I would get up to that point, I would do the knee bar and be hanging upside down with an apple out of my mouth, which was just really funny and amusing. And my oldest son was like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "It's just my wife's just like, that's just daddy." So anyway, I'm
when
at
you
the
were a child, you could, and it was something.
yeah,
It was your
exactly.
character when you're like 3 or 4.
This woman at the gym who I thought was like 18 or 19, so it shows that I don't know anything. She you all good? She decided that she starts looking at me, and I thought maybe she knew the climb I was talking about because it's a famous climb back in New York. But then she goes, "Are you Mr. Chow Miller?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "I had you at Frontier, right?" I'm like, "Okay, so Frontier is where I used to work like 5 years ago, and as well as like 16 years ago for like an 11-year period." And she goes, "Yeah, I was there when you taught Washington State history." So now
How
we've
long ago
narrowed.
was this?
This was 2008 when I first moved here. I was hired to teach Washington State history, not robotics, which is what I
Did
currently
you look
do.
that much different?
I think I did, but my boys are like, "No, you've got the loud, commanding voice, and there's just something about you people recognize." So she's like, "I recognize you. I remember you. You were fun as a teacher." She goes, "I'm actually became a teacher. I'm a middle school science teacher." So I was like, "That's awesome." So I mean, I know I've got students who are in their 40s, but this student in her 30s, like, just flipped me out because I haven't like walked up to somebody. All my students who are in my 40s, I only know because I found them on Instagram, like 10 years after I taught them in the South Bronx. But yeah, it's crazy. So that's my story. I don't know how I started getting this story, but I got on that story. Merry Christmas to you, John. If you want to join us,
Merry
John.
Christmas, John. Saw you in the. I know you've been out and running around. I saw him over on Monty's channel earlier,
Oh, nice. Well, anybody that wants to
listening to
join us,
Christmas music.
let me know, and I'd be more than happy to extend an invitation. So you get any comics today for this week? Did you get your Wednesday comics today, or are you getting them on Thursday?
No, I just filled out FOC for independent stuff. There's not really much on it. There's a Return of the Living Dead. I think it's a Virgin variant for $9.99. There was, I can't even remember. Let me look at it real quick. There wasn't really much to order. I Lie Popeye 4 and Hello Darkness 7 with a Jenny Friesen variant that looks like it's going to be pornographic, so they're not
Oh,
showing the
geez.
cover.
So
you're looking it up.
yeah, Jenny Friesen pornographic cover. Well, I'll show you what most of this is from last week. I didn't pick up last week's because it's too busy. They were starting to fill up tomorrow's. You found the gin or the rum? The gin. They were starting to fill up tomorrow's boxes, but only with the shipments to come in. So we got. Let me see if I remember how to do this. Yeah, we got another Stephanie Hans, the Fade. She's doing all the B covers on this. Yeah, on this little boom box. I read issue 1 just to try it out because it was Hans was on it. It wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. There we are. Got to catch up on this. I might do it soon. I've read issues 1 through 2 or 3, so I still have to get the rest of it. It's not exactly a lot.
That's going to make Looking for Adventures of Rex the Wonder Dog issue 4 that much more difficult for at least a month.
Okay. Well, I've got all the issues. I haven't read them all. So I got that off of eBay because it was like $8 for the 2 of them.
Eats
And
nuts, kicks butts.
Yeah, well, this one just says kicks nuts. So I find that kind of funny, and I'm pretty happy about it. So I thought I was missing Superior Spider-Man 6, but this is Superior Spider-Man Age of Ultron crossover number 1 or tie-in number 1. So it's not actually 6 of anything. It's a different
It's the AU version.
Yeah. So it's not.
There's the regular 6, and then they did things like 6.1. This time it's 6 AU.
Well, then I'll take it because I need 6. I'm collecting Superior Spider-Man, and then I got Marvel Fanfare. Ooh. Number 24. This This was 50 cents. Otherwise, I would not have gotten it. But the reason I got it, if I could find the picture, is this is the first meeting between Captain Marvel and Miss Monica Rambeau.
Oh,
Well, the Thing does the introductions apparently. So
well,
if
that's
you're
cool.
a fan of like Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Monica Rambeau, Phantom Spectrum, whatever, you like this sort of stuff. I would not have gotten it if it wasn't 50 cents. This one was in pretty
Well,
crappy condition, but
I think that issue back in 2021 was like a $20 issue because there was a
yeah,
hot thing
because
about
the
meeting
movies, oh,
per
the movies are
time.
going to do wonders. No, I just I just needed this one. I was a big fan of Kitty and Kitty Pryde and Storm calling her cat when she became Shadow Cat after the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine series. I was like, "Mm, I miss you." But she was also Sprite for like a moment too. This was pretty cool.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got World Tree #1, the C cover for $2 at half price. Say this is a great series. I don't know if it's on a long hiatus or if it is
I just saw the solicitations last week for I think
okay.
issue 12.
So it's coming back. It's been on a long hiatus, almost like a year or something. I got myself some Fables 143. I now need, I think, issue 122, and I'm done or
Damn.
really close to done. Sensational She-Hulk. I'm just slowly trying to get this one done. What's up, Mr. Collector? Got some awesome newsstand stuff today. I saw that he posted. That was pretty awesome. New Avengers. I'm guessing that I did not have this because it's just so egregious, but now like it's one of the few that I'm missing in the run. But it just looks silly. Looks very cartoony, if you ask me. Also got myself some
Everything I knew about Spider-Woman back in the day was because of Bendis.
Yeah. Got myself New Avengers Annual 2, so another step closer to finishing that New Avengers. Oh, I got myself a little Lando. Now, this is not the original Lando, nor is it Lando Calrissian Double or Nothing, the story about him. This is just a one-shot Lando that I got. Then I was really excited for this because it is by our friend Bill Sienkiewicz.
Oh, yes.
And it very much looks like his work with like Elektra, like that sort of style that he developed early on. And he's changed his style a lot, which I think is really admirable. But that's something about that. I saw it and I had to open it up and look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's him. And then the other one I got, I don't really know much about, but I know that Lady Fantastic loves these. So I picked it up for her. This is Millie the Redhead's rival, Chili. Millie's rival, Chili. It sounds like an Eminem lyric, right? Boom. And so the young lady, the redhead, Chili, who we know is spicy and just a little bit more less bland than Millie, she says, "I'll have shrimps, caviar, and a double lobster to start with. What'll you have, Reginald? Separate checks." Oh, those crazy kids back in the 60s. Look at them. The pinstripes, the double-breasted. Gotta love it. Plaid tights. What's up, Tat? How you doing?
Hey, Tat.
Tat is here. You got anything cool to show off?
I mean, I could grab stuff from a box.
Grab stuff from a box because you have probably one of the greatest collections out there. And I don't mean like, I'm not just choosing sides. You have what, 26,000 comics now?
Oh, yeah, about that. Just this past week with New Comic Day, it just passed 27,000.
Okay. So I've got 5,000. I feel like I have a lot, but as we all know, because we're all good at math, 5,000 is not even close to 27,000. So when I say you have a lot, you have a lot. So if you bring yourself a box over,
how about some Deathlock?
go
Early
for it.
Deathlock. I need to get
Astonishing
up
Tales
on a
26
ladder.
to start with, I hope.
Yep. When you have this much, you need a ladder.
See, I have a lot of comics. My wife would say I have too many comics. She might be right. She's agreeing with me from the other room, but I do not need a ladder to get my comics out. So I know that she doesn't play this. Well, at least you don't have that many game. But for anybody else out there, at least I'm not climbing on a ladder to get my comics down right now. We call him Ladder Rob. Let's get us both here. Let's click on Rob and do that. Nope. How do I switch? There's a button that says to switch who's where. We'll just do it like, oh, there we go. Down. So that's a step ladder, so that's okay. Once you reach 30,000, you're going to need another.
Well, by the time I reach that, I'll probably have to remove this particular area right here and replace it with another one of these. Because already this year, I've had to install that because I ran out of space. So now all of my independents are right here. 12 long boxes.
Jeez. So do you
I have a problem.
You get long boxes because long boxes are just store more, or because I hate long boxes? I only have short boxes.
That's really all it is for me. It's just an economic way of doing things. If I had to do it with the short boxes, might be better, but with cats, all I need for them is to just jump the wrong way and that box might come down.
Gotcha.
Or I might put some things on top of all the boxes so that way, if they do that, the lever won't exactly fully knock it off. Okay. But let me switch some cameras here and let's see if this will work.
We have the same shelving system, by the way.
All right. First issue of Astonishing Tales. This is the first time you have Dr. Doom in his own solo.
Oh, nice.
That is the first Bobby Morris. She winds up turning into Mockingbird later on in Marvel Team Up 95.
Which I have in a Mark Jeweler.
Ooh, sweet.
Yeah.
This is the first time you have, what's his name? Mr. Man-Thing in a comic book. And that's the first time you have Man-Thing on a cover. I got these for like $7 or $8 each from a place called Phil's Comic Shop in Broward County, Florida. And Brian, he's over at Take the Time Collectibles on Instagram. He's a great guy. He basically runs that shop. This is the first time you see Fing Fang Foom back since the 1950s. So I guess this is the first modern appearance of him. He appears on the next issue on a cover. I do not have that. But what I do have is Deathlock. There's two different versions. This is the first and goes through with a nice Mike Zeck run here.
I have that one, or I had that one. I never had 25.
There's one thing annoying about this series if you're trying to collect just the early Deathlocks. In the middle of the run, it pauses because I guess they give the opportunity for the creators to catch up, and they do a reprint issue. So if you're collecting this, you're like, why do I seem to always have one issue missing? Why can't I ever find it? And we've seen it over and over and over again, and that's this issue here. Is a reprint of the first appearance of the original Guardians of the Galaxy in issue 29. So it's the only issue that's not part of the Deathlock run, but it's easy to skip over.
Did not know that.
Once did a music video for this for Twitter, but Twitter shat the bed post-election. I mean, let's be serious. It shat the bed back in 2022 when Elon Musk bought it. But now I'm over on Blue Sky, and they only allow posts of videos that go for 1 minute.
Much like Instagram.
Yeah, annoying as hell. Almost done with this series. Grab another.
Now, do you have like between 5 and 25 because you skipped to start showing the Deathlock stuff? Do you have the whole series, or
I do not.
okay?
Just like that one Fing Fang Foom on the cover, I'm missing that. Don't have 2 through 5. Not like I'm not necessarily collecting the entire thing, but it's always easier to get the keys first and then fill in the rest.
Right.
But it's also one of my things where I wind up starting on something and then, like that movie, Up. Squirrel! Oh, another series, Squirrel!
Yep.
And that's a full run of the Deathlock, the early season. I guess I'll call it a season.
So I was watching what my sons are watching. I'm like, oh, and they start talking about Squirrel Girl, and I go, oh, are you playing Marvel Rivals? They go, no, we're watching somebody on YouTube play Marvel Rivals, which is what they do these days. So it was to be expected. But so I started watching a little bit of the gameplay, and yeah, there was Squirrel Girl, and there was Jeff the Land Shark, and they were like, there was Hawkeye's a big character, but it looked pretty cool. I know nothing about video games, but it looked pretty cool.
So if I wasn't so damn colorblind, I'd probably have a lot of fun. I watched a couple of videos on YouTube about people talking about it, some of the gameplay. Mm-hmm. It looks amazing. And there's this other game that apparently came out earlier in the year, Marvel Avengers, that didn't quite hit as much. And the difference is one game, you have to pay for it. They put a ton of money into it. This other one, they just gave a bunch of developers some money and said, do what you want. They put out a free video game. And the free video game is the Marvel Rivals.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Tat. I'm sure you're not talking about me, but I'm thanking you anyway.
And Tat, you do not need a basement. You need something that will not have a pipe burst underground that might flood the room and then destroy everything. And I'm not laughing about that because, it's necessarily funny. It's because it's happened. I've heard people tell me stories about this. And as a court reporter, I deal with insurance cases a lot. So everything that you see in this room here, like where all these comics are with the independents, I have at least one board, like 2x4 going across, so it keeps them off the floor, and I cover it with some plastic because I live in Florida. We get hurricanes. What if there's a little bit of flood? Just a little teeny tiny bit of water through Mylar, hell, even with a slab, it will cause damage to the book because Mylar and slabs, they're not waterproof, they're water resistant, and there's a big difference. Or I need a kid to move out. Time, that's all it is.
Well, the kids' rooms are upstairs on the second floor. Hey, there's Splash Page.
Kids watching your show.
My comics are right here, so I do not want to ever have to move my comics upstairs. How are you doing, Splash? And Chop and Drop is here with us as well. Welcome, Chop and Drop. So my next was going to be, there's Rob's butt. See if I can get this to work right. There we go. Come on. Ha! Merry Christmas, Chop and Drop. So I brought my local, not even comic shop, card shop, just out of any Star Wars 2024. Like they just sold all of it. Like that, guys would come in and buy cases. So I'm still working on like all the extras for 2023. So today I just picked myself up Echo number 86. This is the Chrome 2023. This is the hardest card to get, I know, because I've been looking for it for a while. And today I got 2 of them. So that is finishing no, not Washington State, moving out of my comic book room. So I've got like 3 sets of the Chrome 2023 now, because number 86 Echo was the hardest to get, and Kylo Ren number 71 was the second hardest to get. I also got this nice Ahsoka, which I already have twice. I got a little green BB-8. Green means it's out of 99. Darth Vader from the Return of the Jedi specials, which is really cool. In 20 packs, I've never gotten this before. And then the Princess Leia, which I already had. And the Manga Madness, C-3PO and R2-D2. which I already had. So got myself a little bit of Star Wars cards today, and I was super excited. But while Rob is searching for comics, I'll show you all something cool Star Wars cards wise. Give me a sec to find it. Sound like you injured yourself.
Huh?
So it sounded like you injured yourself just now.
If I was truly injured, you would have been hearing a louder F-bomb.
Help.
It would sound like that one episode of Homer when he hurt himself on the grill and just went, "Fuh!" and it just blew out the neighborhood.
Well, Chop and Drop, welcome. I'm assuming in Yakima, you're probably having some colder, though perhaps drier weather than myself. Let me know how it is out there. We are wet and in like the high 40s because that's just typical Tacoma. Oh, you're originally from the 509. Gotcha. Well, I represent the 253. Uh-oh. Either Miracle Man is here or Rob has some Miracle Man. As soon as I go through
the
these
latter.
cards, I will, of course, I missed it. God darn it. Okay. Well, I will just show you one card then. Bam. There's your first Boba Fett in cards. I got these Star Wars cards. They're so clean. From 1980, Empire Strikes Back. These things are minty. Oh, I'm so happy. All right, I'll switch back to Rob now because he's got some books to share.
Yeah, I have to represent Miracle Man since Miracle Man's not here right now.
All right, my computer's being funny. There we go. Ooh.
All right, way back in the day, late 80s, early 90s, Eclipse was putting out this series called Miracle Man. It was so good that it was held up for almost 2 decades in a lawsuit between Neil Gaiman and
Alan Moore.
Todd McFarlane.
Oh.
So now Marvel has the trademark and they've been trying to re-release it, but since it's very old. This is from the late 80s, early 90s, and it kind of reflects the times, and they didn't update anything. So they just re-released it and said, we're going to finish it out and then release some new stuff. It didn't really work out the way they thought. This was the miniseries that preceded everything. In currently the 605 of South Dakota, but always got to show my love for Washington State, fam.
Yeah.
The second issue of Apocrypha. These are just short stories that are not by Alan Moore. Some of them are.
That looks familiar.
Yeah, it looks like an issue that I will be paying out the ass for when I get the real thing. Then Marvel tried doing their own thing with these annuals, and this is joke with, or is it? No, this is Inyuk Lee's cover.
Oh, that recent, huh?
Yep. And here's where it starts. They just gave Miracle Man, the guy on our show, Miracle Man, the double cover of this. This is my single cover.
Oh, wow.
I ordered these way back in the day on eBay when eBay was first starting to really come about. And I think I got the whole series for maybe $100.
Wow.
And it's pretty complex for back then. It started off in Warrior magazine, and it revolves around this old man, and as Neil Gaiman would put it, he's fat, he's overweight, he's slow, but he realizes there's something that he forgot. And that thing that he forgot is Kimoda. If he says that word, he becomes Miracle Man. And back in the day, he'd help fight crime and whatnot. But then Kid Miracle Man kind of went dark. So they made it so that he forgot everything. They put him in a boys' home, and he gets abused pretty terribly all the way up until issue 14, which I'll get to in a moment. The boys are sexually abusing him, and he finally remembers the word, and he tears the shit out of London. It was one of the most violent comics at the time that wasn't Faust or Lobo Paramilitary. So right about here, it starts getting darker because Alan Moore likes to play on tropes as he did with Watchmen. And he's not afraid to kill or threaten. There's an fill-in issue by Chuck Austin. This was a classic issue for being controversial. Why? It showed a birth of a child. And when I say showing the birth, I mean it shows the baby coming out of the baby chute. And since it was the 80s, not the 90s, it was full bush and all. And here they start talking about some of the other aliens that have influenced Miracle Man and his power over the years. Got some John Tuttleben covers, and this guy was a brilliant artist and had to give it up because he had some eye problems, glaucoma, and he just couldn't see the way that he used to, and he worked with meticulous detail.
Very nice. How long did the run go?
Only till issue 24. And
wow.
Issue 25 was even drawn up. It was just almost ready to go. And Eclipse went out of business. So the issue 25 and part of 26 was floating around online for a while, but it finally saw print over at Marvel, and it wasn't as big as it probably should have been. So in this issue, this is when you have Kid Miracle Man having that sexual assault against him, and that's when he says the word, and he tears up all of London, and it gets pretty... Where the hell is 15? Hold on a second. Unless it's at the bottom of all this. Yeah, it is.
Uh-oh.
So that's the issue that for the longest time, this was one of the hardest issues to come by. In and of itself, it was $100 book because it was rare at this point. This is when it was coming to the end of the run for Alan Moore. Issue 16 is the final one in that run. Then it goes over to Neil Gaiman. And Neil Gaiman hadn't even started writing Sandman at this point.
Wow.
But this one here, I mean, just for the cover, every page on the inside is just as detailed as all this. And in the early mid 90s or so, late 90s, when I first started getting to eBay, this was just amazing to read. I'm hearing a lot of fireworks outside. Oh, yeah. So at the end of this is the end of the golden age, because once Neil Gaiman takes over, it's the silver age.
Very cool.
And he starts using the same artist that he would use later on for Sandman, Dave McKeon.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the same types of covers, how that would lead to it later on. And when issue 24 finally came out, it was just a big teaser, and it was a cliffhanger that would never be finished. And when Marvel finally printed it, it's like, oh, by the way, here it is. Because comic companies these days, if you're a creator, they're not going to advertise for you. Hey, you're a creator. You should have marketing experience. You go market your own book. If you know artists and you know writers, a lot of them are kind of introverted. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there right now that would be great artists, great writers, but because they're not great at talking with others or being very much like Stan Lee, like a hype man, they just don't get the credit that they'll ever deserve because no one's advocating for them. Like years ago, we had something called Attack of the Show from 2005 to 2013, and one of the guys went on to become like a horrible maggot. But I mean, it advocated for comics, and we don't have that right now. It'd be nice if we did.
Shout out to Steven Spock. He stopped by.
Hey, Steven Spock. I'm doing my hand model thing. This is when Barry Windsor Smith takes over. And this is the final issue because it went out of business right after this. Even this was like a $40-$50 book for a time, but now that Marvel has the rights and has republished it all over again from scratch, a lot of these have dropped. But anything that's written by Alan Moore, it's worth keeping in the collection. That's why I still have mine.
Very nice.
I showed a chunk.
You did. Well, I got one more chunk I'm going to show, and then I think I've got to go. Let's see what we got here. This is an almost complete chunk. This is, I just realized thinking about this is 10 years old now, right? Which doesn't seem that long ago, but 10 years was 10 years. So this is from 2015. So it's 9 years old. This is the Marvel Darth Vader run. So first Darth Vader solo series, because Dark Horse never put one out. And this is issue 2, third printing. Great Adi Granov art. I love that. And so this series, if you never read it, was all about, well, obviously it's all about Vader, but it's all about Vader's search for Luke. And what I love about this series, the interior art was done by Salvador Larroca, is just there's so many shots of Vader being stoic and not saying anything. And you just don't know. And you, as the reader and the viewer, are left to figure out, is he searching for Luke because the Emperor told him to search for Luke, and Luke is a threat to the Emperor's power, and he wants Vader to find Luke to get Luke destroyed or to join them? Or is he searching for Luke because he actually cares about his son? Or is he searching for Luke because he thinks maybe the Emperor will destroy Luke and keep Vader around? So, and you never know. And throughout all 25 issues of this, Kieran Gillen does such a great job of writing it so that you're never, ever quite sure. So this is my second copy of this run. So the famous issue 3, the first Dr. Aphra, is third printing. Up there on the wall somewhere, I've got first printing. But this is my second copy, or my second set of this. Issue 4 goes to third printing. So it's also cool. I got some later printings here. All these Adi Granov covers are just amazing too. Absolutely amazing. Second printing of issue 5. Right. And then first printing from now on, issue 6. Just love this artwork. I just love the way Vader's bowed. The Emperor's like, yeah, my pretty. But, is Vader playing games with him or not? And that's what I absolutely love about this. I love this cover. Even better than the what was it called? The Phantom Menace poster. A little bit more cartoony, but you see BT1 and 000. Again, seeing Vader in reflection like that. You don't think of Vader as reflecting on anything. And that's what I love so much about it. Aphra. This one was mid. But then look what Mark Brooks does with the colors on this one. That's just fucking fabulous. I love that. And then we bring our buddies in, Han and Luke. 15, 16, or 15. Then we get back to some killer covers. Some of these, they're what would go as 1 in 10s or 1 in 25s now. They're just, I don't know. I think the covers are so good. There's 17. Little Charlie's Angels action there, like Madonna video action there. These are 2 unforgettable characters whose names I forgot. And then we come.
So many of them.
Exactly. We come to the end.
Their names aren't John and Barbara and Susan and Tom. It's
exactly. We got ourselves a little Darth Vader, Mark Brooks action again. We got Aphra crying over the same sort of droid that Princess Leia had in the Obi-Wan TV show. Yeah, this one And then we have what is probably one of my absolute favorite Star Wars covers. I just love that. M24. Oh, nice, Tat. I have my number 3 signed by Ani somewhere up there. Really want to get Kieran Gillen to sign it too. And there is 25, which I also consider an absolutely fabulous cover. Just love the detail there. So cool. So I only am missing 1 and I think 11. The only copy of 11 they had was like mangled. So 1 and 11, I got myself a second set of Darth Vader there. All right. You got anything else to show?
Maybe like 10 things, and I'll leave it at that. I have a lot more than that, but I think I'm going to leave it at 10.
Oh, let's do those 10, and then we'll get out of here.
All right. So here are my first 10 issues of Iron Man. Well, since I can't find my issue 1, here's the reprint. Wait a second. Is today Tuesday?
Today is.
Oh, well, here's 2 for Tuesday. Here's the first issue I got a while back. I think I got it from Barbarian Kung Fu. I could be wrong. You got me most of them.
Premiere issue.
Oh, yeah. Issue 2. They're pretty decent copies, too.
Very nice.
This is Freak, which anybody that's been watching the second season of What If, you have, which one was it? Happy winds up getting a drug that is supposed to turn him into a Hulk. Instead, it turns him into a freak.
Uh-huh.
And the Unicorn, not that anybody knows really who that is, mostly because I don't think any kind of MCU movie is going to put a unicorn in a movie. But I could be wrong. You tell me.
There actually is a movie coming out.
Let us know in the comments, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that horror movie with Jenny
really
Ortega.
Good. Yeah.
I will definitely be watching that.
Happy.
First 10 issues, 54, 55. Those are going to be like the hardest ones to find. I have them all.
You have them all?
Well, my problem with Iron Man is that we have something in common. We all know what that is once you hit issue 128, but it was building from there. Only difference that we don't have in common is he's rich and all my richness is in comic books.
Gotcha. My point was I have 54 if you need it.
Nope, that one I definitely have. That one is in the box right now. I had to get first Moondragon. Yeah. And then over in Daredevil 105, where she's first called Moondragon.
I have Daredevil 105 and Mark Jewelers as well.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
What's unfortunate about this one issue here that makes this one harder to find than a lot of the others. Yeah, anytime that you have the superheroes fighting each other, it's always pretty big. But just like Avengers 11, Hulk, much like Spider-Man, is a robot. Robots. Damn LMDs.
Damn robots.
And here's issue 10. I'll leave it at there because we don't want to go too long. It's Christmas Eve. Spend time with your folks. Don't be like me. Yeah. I don't have people to spend time with. I have time to spend with. Guess what? I don't know. He's right next to me. It's Max.
Hey, Max. Chat, you're absolutely right. Everything Rob puts up is fire. Well, thanks for joining me, man. I just wanted to, kill some time after dinner. I made some nice pasta carbonara, and this was a good nightcap. I can't remember. I don't know the word nightcap. Why do I think it's?
I entirely forgot to eat today.
Well, you should probably go do that. I am going to go drink and be merry. But thank you very much for joining me, Rob, and thanks, Tat Comics, Steven Spock, Chop and Drop. Who else joined here? John joined us at one point, /page. So Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
And if you're watching on the rewind, Merry Christmas and enjoy your holiday.